Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another video session. So I'm your host, Tony LeBlanc from the Doorpreneur. Today, we're going to take a look at a maintenance workflow that we've built out for our management company that I thought could provide a lot of value to a lot of other property management companies out there. So we're going to go through this in a few different phases, and I'm going to start by sharing with you guys a workflow that we've put together before creating the entirety of the workflow within Monday.com. So it's kind of like designing the process flow before you kind of jump into the tool. We've learned that pretty early on, to where it's, you want to get eager and you want to jump into the software and start creating stuff. Well, sometimes that can be good and sometimes that can be bad, because it can really eat up a lot of time where you're having to build and then tear down and rebuild stuff. So, we've really learned our lessons in that, and that's why going forward we start by creating a process flow on a Visio, PowerPoint, or whatever type of tool that you have, such as what you're seeing on the screen. So we're going to go through this, then we're going to jump into Monday. I'm going to show you guys what the board looks like, the different automations that we've put together, and we're also going to take a look at something that's really exciting that I haven't kind of shared with you guys yet, is a sneak peek into dashboards and the power of dashboards. So let's start off by looking at what we see in front of us, which is our process flow. And if you're familiar with Visio or any type of flow charting software, this is going to look pretty familiar with you. So here we kind of have a legend that describes what each one of these components mean. So here the circles are automations, the squares are in-person actions, and then the diamonds are decision points. So what this entire document shows is how we deal with our maintenance tickets from the time that, or even how they're submitted to us, and then how they're completed. Okay, so for us, the way that we've built this out, and I think a lot of property managers, it's very similar. Work orders typically start through either our management portals, which are usually end up being emails to somebody. They can be an internal form that you've created, or they can be simply an email to one of your staff. So we go about it in two ways. So we've created a maintenance email, mate@groundfloorpm.com, that we share with all of our tenants, that they can submit all of their maintenance order requests through that venue. We've also created a form, an online form. So we're Buildium users. We know we can give tenants, and we've done it for many years. We've given access to the tenant portal for our tenants to be able to submit work orders through there. But now we're transitioning out of that, and we've simply created this form through Monday that we now provide the tenants. So all they got to do is give us a description. Here they can quickly check off if we have permission to enter their unit, what their address is, what is the description of the problem, pictures of the problem, which is incredibly helpful, their name, their phone number, and their email. And then they submit that, and then somebody will get notified once that comes in. So if we start here at the top of the process flow, so we have our maintenance. So if it's coming in from an email, so the way that we're doing it is we're using another tool. So this email, mate@groundfloorpm.com, is simply an alias for my personal email. That email comes in, I stick it in a folder, and then I use the software called automate.io. It goes into my email, and it gets triggered every time a new maintenance email comes in, and then it parses it and sends it to Monday. It's a beautiful integration. It's 100% free. So if you want to know more about automate.io, you can send me an email or drop me a comment in here, and I can help you out with that. Super simple. The second way, and our preferred method going forward, is all of our tenants as well as our own internal staff, is we use the Monday.com boards that we've created, the forms, to fill out, because they're direct native components of Monday, and it's a lot cleaner to be able to do it that way. So that's kind of how we're pushing going forward. So once the request, the ticket, comes into the system, it's now in Monday. Monday.com has a ton of different features, and one of the beautiful things about the software is they have automations. So automations are things that can be done automatically based off a trigger. So for us, in this case, we have different triggers being set when a new ticket is created. So the first thing that it does is it assigns it to my ops manager. It sets the status to new, and it sets the open date to the time that the ticket was created. Very simple, right? You just want to be able to get that out. So in addition to that, what's going to be populated in my ticket is the tenant name, their email, their phone number, and of course, any pictures if they've uploaded them, and the specifics with regards to the issue at hand. So what we then do is we need some human interaction here. So this is when my ops manager comes in, takes a look at the ticket, reviews it. He can set a deadline if he wants. He then assigns it to one of my staff, to one of the maintenance workers, confirms and completes that the tenant information is accurate, and then he just basically sets the status to assigned. And that's all that he's got to do. Once that's done, we got some more automations that kick in. So a notification will go out to my maintenance person. So they're all of our guys are equipped with iPhones as well as iPads. They prefer the iPads because they're bigger. These guys have fat fingers, so they like the iPads in terms of doing their work. So we have data-enabled iPads for all of them. So they get a notification, hey, I just got a new ticket, and it automatically gets moved into a new group of working in progress. Maintenance guy then does his thing. He works on the item, reaches out to the tenant, creates a time to when they're going to go see them, and he does his work. At that point, once he's done, different things can be done. So this is where he sets the status to either complete. When he does that, it gets moved. The ticket gets moved to another group. We have an email that gets automatically sent out to the tenant to do a survey asking them how the service was. And it also automatically sets the complete date to when he changes that status. And then we have a few other options where we can send it to payroll. We can have a status to maybe one of the maintenance guys is stuck, so they can put it to stuck, and then that notifies the maintenance manager right away. Send to core, that's kind of another internal thing that we do for billing purposes. So I really just wanted to share this with you guys to give you an idea of what you should be thinking about before you kind of jump in and start putting all this together. One of the biggest pet peeves and difficulties that I see with a lot of property managers out there is they don't take the required time to be able to design a flow or a sequence of how things happen. We're an incredibly process-driven industry, and everything we do is usually by checklists and due dates. So it makes a lot of sense for us to be able to adopt these types of things and really design our different workflows. And especially if you want to get into a tool like Monday.com, this is going to save you hours and hours and hours of time of being able to just go up and create the boards. In addition, once you've had a board up and running for a while, you may start to forget all the different automations and what happens when. So having a visual representation like this is absolutely key. So just really wanted to kind of share that with you guys. So now we're going to jump into Monday. So here's the board that we have, and we call it maintenance in progress. So the top level emailed pulses. So this is where all of the new work orders come in. So I showed you guys my new work order form. So this is the entry point that we would like to have going forward, where everything comes in through there. Once we do that, we're then going to see a new entry pop up right in here. And I'm going to do one live. So I'm going to give a one-line description. So I'm going to say toilet running. Please advise if you give permission to enter. I'm going to check that off. Sure, that's fine. Address 123 Main Street, Unit 5. My toilet has been running for a while. Please come and check. Okay. Let's see if I can add a picture. Do I have any quick pictures that I can put in here? one is, but I'm going to put it in there. Tenant name, I'm going to put my name. Phone number, I'm going to put a phone number. Oh, can I do that right? There we go. And I'm going to put my email. And that's it. Okay, so that looks good. So I'm now going to submit that. Oh, makes sense if I put an area code. Submit. And just like that, I have a task. So now I'm going to go to my maintenance board and boom, it already came in. So now I have a new ticket that just came in. So toilet's running. It automatically created a work order number. So that's something that we just put in place, but we haven't yet added it to our flow chart. So that's on me to get that updated. So what's going to happen is any second now, you're going to see this automatically get assigned to a manager. So if I refresh my page, we'll probably see that will have already have changed. There we go. So it was assigned to Dave, which is our maintenance guy, our manager. Status was set to new. And here's the details of the description of the problem that I was facing. So you can see that. You can put in a bunch of comments. It's got my picture. It's got my phone number. And this is very, very cool. So picture your maintenance staff, if they're on their phones or on their tablets, they can simply click on these and it'll actually integrate directly with the phone and it'll start a phone call. And as well with the email, if you click the email, it's automatically going to bring up your email editor and start writing an email. So very, very cool stuff. Some other columns that we've added. So work type. So let's say I'm the manager. So I'm going in here and I'm cleaning it up. So I'm going to say, okay, everything looks good. Completion date, that gets set automatically when it's done. I'm going to say, so this is a plumbing issue, so I'm going to set it to plumbing. Everything else looks good. I'm then going to assign it. I'm going to assign it to myself so that it doesn't get assigned to one of the guys. And then all I do is I change the status to assigned. And then boom, it's no longer in here. It's now down in my work in progress section. So you can see down here, this is the complete work order. So all throughout I was doing that, in my little bell here, I just got notified. It's like, hey, you've just been assigned a new task. So that's great. So I can get that through email, or I can get that through this little notification. That's very configurable on how you want to do that. So it's very, very useful. So in our main board here, we have three main sections. We have the new entries that come in. So think of this as a processing area or a queue. Then we have all of our work orders that are being worked on, and then we have all of our completed items. Right? So the way that we do this is our payroll is every 2 weeks. So we've set this up to where this stuff gets archived after a certain period of time. And then we have some automations in place that takes the completed items for the last 2 weeks to compile them for our payroll. So again, these are just different automations that we've put in place to make that happen. And you'd be incredibly surprised on how easy it is. So let's go through some of the details of the work order. So again, you have open date, work order number if you need that. So if your guys are going to go get supplies, or if you're doing any type of if you're used to working with POs, then you can do that automatically. That's simply a column type inside of Monday that you can create. Super easy. And then you got all the tenant details if you need to reach them. And then once you've completed it, the completion date would be set. So as your maintenance staff is working on the issue, they would be utilizing this little bubble section. This is kind of where you create all of your updates. So you can see this one. This is another automation that I just added this morning. So once a new ticket comes in, I have an email that automatically sends an email to the tenant advising them Thank you for submitting your maintenance request. Someone will be in contact with you shortly to have this taken care of. So again, I'm building in some customer service into the tool, which is absolutely fantastic, and tenants love it, right? They love to be communicated with. So let's say I'm on the road, I get to the apartment, I do my thing, and I'm all done. So as a maintenance guy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these types of notes. Went to site, fixed toilet, installed new ring. And then I'm gonna give a note to my manager. I'm gonna say, Dave, which is my ops manager, FYI, we need to restock on rings. So what that's going to do is it's going to send a notification to Dave to read this. Okay. Update. Boom. It's done. This commenting section is incredibly important and very powerful. So a few things that you can do that we've found very interesting. One is this little piece here. So depending on who's subscribed to your board, or if you call somebody out like this, there's this little button here that says seen. So you can actually tell if you've called somebody, you can actually see if they've read your message or if they've looked at it. So talk about accountability. This is absolutely amazing. So this is a very valuable tool to make sure that everybody's been, everybody's been communicated to, and that everybody's seeing what they had to do. You can even write emails to an individual work order. So each individual work order or each individual pulse has their own emails. So I could go in here and actually I could copy to clipboard. I can copy that email address. I could go in my email editor and send it an email, and then it would show up inside of these updates, which is very, very cool. So that's where, start thinking if you're working with outside vendors and you're creating work orders and you want them to be able to possibly communicate with you on a certain work order, you could absolutely use a tool like this to make sure that you have a common email, and that you guys just, when you're doing a reply, you do a reply all, and you make sure that that email is involved in the chain, and it'll get logged inside your ticket. So it can be really helpful. So as he's working his job, he's going to keep his notes, and then once he's done, he goes to this end section and he puts his hours. So let's say that ticket took me 1.5 hours. Okay, and that's all it took. So then I see here, total hours, 1.5. And then all I would do then is I would go here and I'd put it to complete. And once it's in a complete state, obviously it's going to get moved down here to the complete section. And that information is then, again, it's used for our payroll department for, calculating all the hours for all the men. So that's kind of a quick view of how we utilize the board. There's a ton of things that you can do to get, you can add more columns if you need more details. Monday has some beautiful, if you look on this little thing here, it's a filter. So this opens up an entire filter. So let's say if I want to see completed work items, so I'm going to take my completed from this week by one of my guys. So I'm going to pick this guy. Boom. So now I can see all the completed work items from this one guy this week. So I want to see how many hours he put in. So he put 43 hours this week. Very, very powerful. And you can export that if you want. So you can export that to Excel if you want to send it out as some sort of report. I believe you can, let me see here. Yeah, that's probably all you'd want to do there. What other things we like looking at? I like seeing work in progress this week. And then I want to see, I want to make sure that it's been, what's still assigned. So this tells me what's out there, but is still kind of hasn't been assigned to anybody yet. So we might be waiting on something. There could be a lot of things. It could be, different things going on in terms of why they haven't started to work on them. So if I go back to the main table, in this section here, we call this views. So in here, you're able to create different views so that everybody can see at any time. So what we've done is we've created different views for the different maintenance guys. So Nathan is one of our guys. So I've pre-created something so it's easy for him to go check just his open issues. So you can tell he's just got one. We can go to another guy, Mike. He closed everything out before the end of the day today. Thomas has got one. He's doing various things. And then I can check and see, okay, I want to see what are my completed work orders, for the last little bit. Again, that'll give me a nice report. And if I want to be able to see, the total hours between a certain period of time, the possibilities are endless in terms of how and what you want to do with that data. But these views consider them like quick shortcuts of how to see your information. One of the ones I like the most is, let's say you're running an operation with 2, 3, 4 guys, and you kind of want to see what the load is between everybody. So we have another one here that's called workload. So this gives me a quick view of what was done this week in terms of hours. So I can see, and it gives you on a per week basis. So I can see that one of my guys put 47 hours, one guy put 7, and these other guys, they just haven't been onboarded into this product yet. But this kind of gives you a good idea. I can see it by month, I can see it by day, or I can see it by week, which is kind of what I like to see. So if you're a visual person, this is very, very cool. Very nice to be able to see. So that's kind of a few other things. One other item that I wanted to show you guys is got to do with the customer service. So we've set it up to where 2 emails are sent to the person that opened the ticket. So the first one is to let them know that, hey, we got it and we'll get back to you. The second one is when the ticket is closed, we want to send them an automation email that basically asks them to fill out a survey. So in this little button here, it says integrations, and I got this integration with Gmail that says when the status is complete, send an email to the tenant. And here's what the email says. It basically says, hi, we see that one of our maintenance technicians recently finished some work. We'd love to get your feedback. Please fill in the form below. And I just put a link to one of the forms that I created in Monday, which is right over here. No, see, I'll go to the forms right here. Feedback form. So this is what the customer or the tenant would see. So feedback form. So they fill in their name, their address, email, what is their general sentiment, room for improvement, happy, unhappy, what happened, and then they got just a few questions that we said, so is the quality good? Yes, that's great, that's great, that's great, and that's okay. And then they can put general comments in here and then submit it. And then what happens from there is that gets put into our maintenance feedback form. So we just put this in place, I believe it was yesterday. So two came in yesterday and one came in just a few minutes ago. Happy to see that there were 3 happy remarks. So one said that they fixed the toilet very quickly. We had a mouse issue, and then we had a light bulb issue. So then we can see kind of how they graded it, and then any questions that they may have. So obviously when there's an unhappy or room for improvement, I have an automation in there that lets me know so that I can jump on that right away as the owner. And then also when they're happy, what I do is I broadcast that to the staff to let them know. It's like, hey guys, awesome job. And we look at the feedback that we just got from our tenants. And guys, this is 100% automated. And to top it off, and you gotta love this. When I get a happy remark, check this out. I send them an email again, thanking them, thank you for your feedback. I haven't included the link, but what I'm going to put in here is going to say, thank you for the great feedback. If you wouldn't mind, here's a link below to our Google page. I'd love for you to copy this exact, and I'm going to actually write it out for them, the feedback. If you could post this to our Google or let them write it, whatever you want to do. But it can be really that easy in terms of automating those good reviews. Because listen, we all know reviews, we can get really chopped up in these different forms. I am just keeping it to Google. I'm not even bothering with Facebook. I don't even want to go into there. So we're just going to send them a quick link to the Google page, put in a nice note, and we'd be very appreciative. You could even offer them, if they do that, you can, do whatever type of thing you'd want for them. So that's been, I see a lot of great things going on with that. So that's the maintenance board. There's a lot of stuff that I'm probably leaving out. You guys could be, rooming with questions. Write them down. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. Always opening the door to have conversations and to help you guys out, because I know how much it's, what it's doing for us. And I want that for other property management companies, because I think it's really great. I'm going to finish this off, I'm going to top this off with a cherry, and I'm going to give you guys a quick sneak peek. In Monday, we have basically 3 concepts. I'm going to say 2. We have our workspaces, which are different workspaces. We have boards and we have folders. But then we also have something called dashboards. And really, we haven't gone a lot into details with this, but I want to show you guys what one looks like. So this is a dashboard that we recently created for our maintenance. So again, this is completely automated. It updates 100% on its own. You just build it to track the data that you need, and you can see this stuff change in real time. And as you can see, somebody's doing some work, and this stuff is changing as I'm speaking, which is pretty cool. So this month, this kind of gives me a view of how many completed work items that I've had, how many have been assigned, how many are still being worked on, what are continuations, and how many new that are still in. Those are the different statuses. So if I click on any of these, it'll actually drill down and show me all of the details. Like, how freaking cool is that? Crazy stuff. Feedback. So this is where my reviews. So I'm very happy to say we've only got 3, but we just implemented it, but they're 3 happy. Again, I can click on it and it'll bring me to my 3 entries, and I can take a quick look at it. Like, think of this. These are more for, executive management level type, KPI type dashboards. And great to be able to share this with your staff. So here I'm getting total hours put in this month. So we had 343 so far in the last couple of weeks. How many of that were maintenance hours? How many of that were painting, plumbing, and appliance repair? How many active jobs I got going on right now, and how many are sitting waiting to be assigned? And then this gives me how many completed jobs each one of my guys have done each week. So I can, very easily, okay, he's done 19, he did 13 last week, he did 16. And again, you can drill down on these things, right? You can see, if I click here, you can actually see all the entries that they did. And I can even go further and click on the entry, and it brings me right to the entry of that specific ticket. Like, it's just really, really amazing on what you can do. So if you're into KPIs, if you're into visuals, the things that you can do in here are pretty ridiculous and pretty sick. So we're super excited to, we're doing some really deep dives into this stuff in terms of, creating a bunch of different creative stuff for, all of our different departments. So, yeah, guys, that's how we're currently running and operating our maintenance division through this. We have a it's a pretty big operation. This is managing close to 1,800 units. So there's a lot of stuff. There's not a lot going on because it's the end of the week. Mostly everything is done, obviously. But this can handle, like, in terms of scalability, like, there's really no limitations to this, right? It can get as big as you want it. And again, I'm just kind of scratching the surface on the different things that you can do within this environment. But I think this gives you a pretty good idea, and you can see things moving, right? So you can see that there's others working on the board in real time, which is very, very, very cool. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value. Again, I'm here to help you if you have any direct questions specifically to any of these boards. And my offer is out there. If you guys use my affiliate link to sign up with Monday, I'm offering up a free hour of questions, and heck, I can even help you set up some boards. However you want to use it, I'm pretty much good to go. So would love to hear some of the things that you guys are thinking of doing or wondering if Monday can do it. Shoot me an email anytime, tony@doorpreneur.com, and I'll add this all in the show notes below. And I'll also put the affiliate link to be able to go through, because if you guys are going to use it, I would love, obviously, for you guys to use my link. There's no charge to you guys. There's nothing on your part. Basically, all this will do will help, pay me a few bucks to be able to help put all these training videos together and help this industry really be able to customize and utilize a tool that's actually of real value. It's so crazy that I'm seeing so many things and reading all these posts on Facebook about people having issues with their property management software and their vendors, and it's like, oh, it's crazy. This tool can help solve a lot of problems. So anyways, we'll get this up, and I will see you guys again next week. Have a great day.